Hello, my name is Cynthia, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. If you love beautiful needlework, you like to talk about it, see examples of it, and most importantly, if you hope to be inspired to create your own beautiful projects, you're in the right place. Thank you for returning and seeing what I've been up to. My channel is called Stitching in the Light, and it's been a little bit over 2 weeks. I've had a lot going on personally, and so not as much stitching time as I had hoped, but a lot of time for crafting and several finishes that I still wanted to share. I also had some stitchy kindness and a little bit of haul, mostly freebies that you can download yourself if you're interested. And I have a giveaway at the end for 3 winners to celebrate 3,000 subscribers. That really blows me away. I've just had my channel explode lately, and I'm so grateful to all the new subscribers and new visitors to my channel. My hometown growing up in Valley Center, Kansas had 3,000 citizens, so it's wild to me that I've exceeded my hometown population and subscribers. I'm really just a small town girl, but thank you for being here, and thank you for your encouragement and your continued support. I'd like to go ahead and show you the projects that I was able to finish. I had posted these on Instagram, so you may have already seen them, but this Honeyberry by Erica Michaels was a really fun stitch. I changed it, of course, as I often do. I made this white flower, a Gentle Arts thread called Old Blue Paint, and I tweeted that lettering. I didn't have the called for overdyed floss, so I just took a DMC and a color and cotton I had called mustard, old mustard, no, mustard something, and spicy mustard, that's it. And I tweeted them together. I often do that if I don't want to go into my stash for a very big project and take some of my fancy floss that may be allotted to a bigger sampler or something like that. So, and I have another way I've used tweeted, which is 2 different shades of a floss. When I put those together, I have a different way I've done that to show you in one of my whips, but this one worked out really well. I just kind of look at the cover photo. Excuse me, I had to move out of frame, which is here, and tried to match it somewhat. I know I used whiskey on that bee body because it definitely was more, I usually like to tone down colors, so that's definitely more of a muted tone. And then I ended up getting some more sari silk. Here's the whole hang of it behind me. That's part of my haul. But I ended up getting some some bleached, not unbleached, some bleached sari silk. So it's not the bright yellow. I thought the bright yellow was just the wrong tones for this. And then I used the green wool that I got from Allison Rosen. That was a D-stash, and it's hand dyed, so it has a little bit of variance to it. And I just kind of cut it in a clover shape or in a 4-petal shape and tacked it down with Aleene's glue. I did sew on the top so that if I want to hang it like this, it can hang. In fact, I have it hanging on some hooks that I got at Daiso on a grid, and I have my bee wall all complete. So at least for this season, I have more projects I wanted to get to, like Pineberry Lane's Miss McGuire Beekeeper and my Dame Crodle. Some of the projects that I showed you in my bee capsule did not get complete. There's about 4 more, but there's always next year, and I was really pleased with all I was able to do. I like to hang bells from things. I just like the sound of that. I used to have a skirt when I was little that had a bell, so I think there's something about that memory that sound brings forward. And I also put a button on this side, so just some things that dangle, and I think it's so pretty. It's even prettier in person, and it's my fourth or fifth berry I've made, so I just find tricks and tips to get a little better each time. I think this is the best one I've done so far. I definitely suggest interfacing. This may have been a little heavy on the interfacing, but I don't know, it makes like a really sharp point. And then I did find some sawdust. My dad had 2 bags for me. I was finally able to go home and see my mom, and so sawdust is awesome. I know that people say, you know, it's kind of messy. I really didn't have that much trouble with the strawberry particularly, but it just molds in there almost like a not a foam, but it fills so well. It's really heavy and it has just a really full shape to it. So sawdust is worth the hype. It's really worth finding. And I had 2 grades. I had like a rough one and a fine one, and the fine one really worked the best if someone has been looking for that. And while I was making that, I made another one. I'll tell you more why later. This one is out of my bee skep fabric, just that really pretty antique fabric from Hobby Lobby, and it has some really pretty realistic bees there. Same process. It's quick while you're doing one to just do one more, and then you'll have a nice display. This one has a bell. I wanted to find a bee charm for the other side, but I may put a button on there because like I said, I'll tell you more why I made this one later. So there's the second berry, and they're pretty much the same size. A little bit fluffier on this one because I used the coarse grain on this one and then the fine packed on that one. And then the last project I wanted to share that I finished was my punch needle. And I posted, oh, it's got sorry silk on it. Sorry. This was a modified version from the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. It really looks quite different. The original piece was pretty large with a sheep and that orangey color. It's really pretty, but it's not really my style as far as what I have in my home. And so I thought those looked more like sunflowers. And I used the called for black and gray and purple, and the yellows were bright, but I went ahead and used them in this because I thought they were happy and they just turned out looking so cute. And again, I changed the insides from the orange to that brown, and just a dark brown DMC. I don't even remember which one. And I added a bee on this side. In retrospect, I didn't really need to, but I thought he looked kind of lonely. So there's 2 little bees here, and they're kind of smudgy. The model is obviously a much more experienced punch needler than me. I don't know if she did some backstitching on that, but my bee is kind of, like I said, kind of smudgy. But you get the idea, and I love the way the bird turned out. I added these corners because I was cutting off all of the other design elements, and I felt like it needed something to kind of finish it. And I've never finished punch needle as a pillow before, and I was joking on my Instagram with Ginger Shawl. I don't like straight lines apparently. This punch needle ended up having a real swoop to it, and I should have taken it out and straightened it, but when I was modifying the design I thought, oh, that's straight enough, and turns out it wasn't. But it kind of can shape a little bit. I can kind of manipulate the shape where it's not, I don't think it's terrible. At first I thought, oh, this is awful, but it's growing on me. I signed it on the back with my initials and the date, and this was a I sound sort of like a thief, but I didn't intend at the time. I got a sample from Hobby Lobby. You know how they have like the velvet and cut velvet kind of fabric, and there's squares that are bobby pin to it or safety pin to it. That is a sample. And it's just a tiny piece, but it's a beautiful cut velvet. I would love to buy that fabric, but I never did. And I thought it looked really pretty on the back with the yellow, because there's a lot of gray in that wing and on the corners. So it's just such a pretty little design, and I really enjoyed that. The pearl cotton was my aunt's inherited stash. I thought that it felt really brittle and old, but it worked great. And I think I used like 6 skeins of it. They'd been sitting in a box for probably 2 decades. So it's nice that they were repurposed. And I didn't know the difference between pearl cotton and DMC when you're punching. I don't know if you can see it, but it's funny that the DMC punch almost looks like kind of, I don't want to say worms, but it kind of stacks together like squiggles. And then the pearl cotton looks like almost like a polka dot, like a dotalism, or how do you say that, dotalism? That form of art that's just dots, dots, dots. So it kind of took more for me to feel that than it does with the DMC. I don't know if it's just thinner or if it is a different way of thread. So it took a different approach, or a different look. But I love the way this turned out. And I will insert a video of my bee wall all finished. I had a 2-layer basket that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I had the wire like hook unit that I got from Daiso, and then I have a original art piece that my mom gave me that I don't know if a friend made it for her or her bought it for her, but it's a really pretty bee painting. So I have it at the bottom of my stairs right over here, so I'll see it as I'm coming up. I wanted it to be an all year round display instead of just a late summer, so I have just a little bee wall right at the top of my stair landing, and I will insert a picture of that here. I wanted to share with you a couple of the projects that I've been stitching on. Like I said, had a lot going on personally, so I didn't have as much stitching time, but I did get some work in on my Hawkrun Hollow village, and also Consider the Lilies. Just not a lot to show you, so I'll wait until next visit. But I did get quite a bit done on my Halloween rules, which I am right now doing the free chart that comes on Lizzie Kate's website. When you buy all the charts, and that's what I heard fall. There it is, sorry. When you buy all of the charts, all of the rules, you get a way to assemble them in the back. You could just stitch them as a single or all together. The topper is on her website. So I stitched all of this almost, and realized partway into it that the bottom of those gravestones was grass. I had stitched it in black. In fact, you can look back and see the last time I showed it, and it's like, oh, what were you thinking? But the symbol on this printout, I did want to kind of warn you if you're going to attempt this project, the my printer did not pick up the difference between that grass and the border. The symbol looks like a solid square, and it's not. It's a grass. So I had to rip out from about here to here. All of that had to come out. And when I put the green in, what I was kind of telling you earlier that worked for me with not tweeting the floss, but I just kind of did a random pattern of 732, which was the recommended substitute for the week's hand-dyed floss, and 731. You can see that I just had a little bit on a bobbin. You can see how those tones are just a little bit different. One's lighter, and I wanted it to look like a hand-dyed, and I think it really came pretty close. I started out tweeting the strands, one dark and one light. This is on 28 count, and I'm doing it 2/2, so it's real easy to blend your threads. But I didn't really get any variegation when I was doing that. So what I ended up doing was just kind of going along the bottom with some of the dark, and then up, over, and then up. And then I came in with the light and just mixed it up. So that's an economical way. If you can't find, I know a lot of us are having problems finding overdyes right now. If you can't find, you know, the weeks or whatever floss, just use the DMC recommendation and then one color lighter. And I don't know if those are always in the correct numerical order. You know, 731 may not be the light avocado green or whatever this was. This time it was, but I think I've seen numbers split like that where you'll have the medium and the dark be on different numbers. So just look at the name of the DMC floss. You can Google that online, or at Hobby Lobby, they have the names written below, and find the medium or the dark and the light, however you want to do that. And it's a pretty cool trick. So like I said, almost done. I also looked at this L, which is a Week Styleworks, I think it's called Concord. And when I was stitching in the kind of not great light, I had made that brown. So I blame my Zoom friends for that. But it was worth ripping out. We have some good discussions. And the orange was a hand dye that I did myself. I'm not using all of the called for, but a lot of them I are. A lot of them I am. And that gray is a Victorian motto. So just a fun project. In October, I plan to start the first square and keep going. And this is a big piece of, with a few oopses on it, of even weave that you can buy from Hobby Lobby. You can get a yard for $12. So I use this for my Christmas rules, and then I use the other side for the Halloween rolls. So that was a fun project, and it's continuing to be. I think I already showed it, but here's what it'll look like when it's all finished. I'm sure you've probably seen it before, but I love the way the white pops on the dark fabric. The other progress I wanted to share, I had sort of started talking about my All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara Anna, and oops, there's the password, and sharing my difficulties with the hill and some of the counting. This is a really large piece, and a couple of you, I think Cindy G and Jill had suggested different things, taping the project, the papers together for the pattern. Goodness, I can't get my words today. For the pattern, and also gridding. And I had meant to say this in the last time. I do tape them together. I didn't want to show the pattern, but my problem is when I printed this from Creative Poppies, the pages don't line up. I've never had that happen before. The last Barbara Anna I got from there was the Love Never Fails, and I had it in one big map like this, so I don't have page breaks, and it lined up perfectly. But one of these has just a little bit larger perspective, and so it doesn't line up, and that's been my issue. But I did go on, like I had said I would, and use the download on my laptop, and it doesn't give me the symbols on there, but it gives me the color chart, and I zoomed it way up, and that was really helpful to try to get past some of those oops. In fact, I had stitched that cartouche above here way out here, and I had to take it out and come back. So that is now squared away, or circled away, however you want to say, or squoveled, right, Jenny? And on track, and then the hill is coming along too. So I did more of the pig up top and a little more fill-in. Mostly though, I was just straightening out some errors I had made with the page breaks and figuring out a way to work on this project going forward. This is a goal for the year 2020 to finish, and if I really put some good work in it, I can at least get half done. It's really, really big. This is 40 count Mallow by Zweigart, and it's almost like a kind of raw, natural kind of linen. I didn't do any dye to it. And it being 40 count, I was afraid it would shrink. So my widow needs a head. I need to get going a little more on the details there, but I'm really just trying to get, I like to have kind of an overarching idea of where everything goes and then fill in. So I want to get back to this. I've been kind of distracted with my bee work, or not distracted, but just doing different things. And so I'm ready to get back to that. Like I said, I didn't have a lot to show you on my village or on my lilies. Consider the lily sampler. I am still working that on Sunday with Marissa. So let me show you some of my haul and stitchy kindness. I had some sweet mail from my giveaway on video 20. I gave away a scissor fob and a chart, and one of the winners, Marie, had sent this scissor fob to me, the little lady in the hat, and unbeknownst to her, I have another lady with one leg. She's had a little issue. But I just keep them together on this pair of red scissors, my favorites, and it just reminds me of my stitchy friends and my new stitchy friend Marie. So thank you, Marie, that was so cute. I misplaced her card, so I know that was with it. The other giveaway winner, Roxy, that got the fob, sent me a really sweet note. Such a nice lady, and some charts from Hands-On Design, which I have been planning to do a coffee focus after I get some of my library stuff done. That's gonna be my next plan. And so these were so nice to have, and those, I love turquoise. That's one of my favorite colors. So those are so cute, and I have a freebie that'll go really well with this set here that I can share with y'all as well. She also included 2 beautiful thread keeps. There's a little sweet baby, and is this a Christmas one? No, that's a tea or coffee, a steaming cup in there. So it's kind of glary, sorry, but these are so sweet with little charms, little teapot, and a little what was the other one? Little heart. So thank you so much, Roxy. I appreciate that very much. And then lastly, just a viewer thought of me. She sent a really pretty card of that painting and a Stony Creek chart that she said reminded her of me, and I totally get why. This is real reminiscent of the pieces I have from my grandma, and also I collect church birdhouses and things that are church for my guest bath and around the house all over. So, and the music over my piano. And surprisingly, the one I really like is kind of understated here on the back. That's Rock of Ages. So thank you so much, Linda. That was really thoughtful of you. There's lots of charts in here, and it's a beautiful pattern. So I really appreciate that. That was a nice surprise. And I also picked up a few things at Hobby Lobby for finishing. This is one of my questions that I wanted to address in my list later, so I'll go ahead and, sorry, my son is a little loud sometimes. Sarah B, hi Sarah, had asked where to find these little boards. I painted mine black, and this is in a like kind of dining section. It's considered a like appetizer board for fancy food, and so I found mine right at the front when you go into Hobby Lobby. She asked where in Hobby Lobby to find them, and they're $3.99. Like I said, I heard from a few friends that they're not easy to find, but mine were right there. So if you want to head into Hobby Lobby and take a look for these, those are a cute little finish. I'll do a stitch on there. I've already done, no, I'll do a punch needle on that. I've already done a cross stitch. So the other thing I wanted to share was another one of these drawers. I did my bee skep in a white drawer, and these were on half price again, so that made them, oh, they've gone up a little bit. They were $8.99 last time, or $7.99. I didn't realize I paid $1 more. That's fine. They're $9.99 now. So that takes it to $5, which I think is well worth it. I want to try to do one of the Hands-On Design calendar series possibly in here on my kitchen windows. So I wanted to pick that up before they went away for some reason, if that were to happen. I also downloaded a couple of charts, some that I think will be birthday starts for me. I had shared several samplers last year, and I will go ahead and try to link below. My sampler video last year, I shared, I believe, my entire whip collection of samplers and my sampler and antique needlework quarterly. That's a mouthful. I went through and showed several of my favorite samplers, about 10 or 12 of those. So that's a fun inspiration if you would like to know more about samplers or see more examples. But I got really sick in August around my birthday, and so the whole month of September I was on a breathing machine, and I wasn't doing very well with my health, so I didn't get a lot of my, with my asthma, I didn't get a lot of my stitching done I wanted. I'm going to refocus on my Sarah Woodham sampler this next month. That kind of segues into plans, but I also intend to start this one at least, and maybe part of this one on my birthday. And I think I'll work on it kind of like I do on my leap day. Just on the 31st, I want to do this blue flower design called Night Walked Down. And it appealed to me the minute I saw it. I think it came out the year before last, but maybe 2019. Definitely that long, maybe even 2018. But the colors on this are so lush and pretty, and I love cats, and I have several friends named Cindy, so y'all probably know if you share my name, but the name Cynthia is actually kind of a pagan name. I've, redeemed it a little bit. My name means goddess of the moon. If you have a TH like theology or the in your name, that's Greek deity, and then the first part is about the moon. So my name has always been kind of special to me, and that just really symbolized to me my namesake. And my channel is Stitching in the Light, and the Christian version of my name is Light. So lots of meaning in there for me. It doesn't all totally fit my style and the rest of my house, but I'm gonna change it up just a little bit so that it'll work in my bedroom. I just think it's so pretty. And I might take out the border, that's the double lines around it, so it'll fit a little differently. And I'm gonna dye some fabric, kind of a grayish, either blue or purpley tone. So it's gonna be a fun project, and I'll share more with you next time. And then this one, I got the giant piece of Ada. I still haven't been able to dye it, but it's waiting for me. So I'm gonna cut that skinny yard of fabric, and I like to stitch from the bottom up. I don't know what it is, it just makes more sense to me, and plus my stitches look better in hand when I'm going up instead of down. So I actually had part one in a giveaway from my friend Stephanie, but I ended up buying part 8. So I'll just kind of buy the middle. I have the front and the bottom, but I'm gonna buy the middle pieces as I go, and just work my way up. So I love this full design. I saw it at Silver Needle. It's on my Instagram if you want to look up, but in person it is just breathtaking. It's 1 stitch higher and 1 stitch wider than And They Send, another famous sampler. Teresa's a little funny like that. So that was a PDF download on Kitten Stitcher, and then the blue flower piece is also a PDF download on the blue flower. So if you haven't found that in your local needlework shop, you can get that downloaded on your computer. Some other downloads really quickly, and I will try to link these. I had another question. I'm ticking off questions as I'm talking. Another viewer asked where my Pear Pattern was from my last video. If you go to my last video, if you were looking for those sampler pairs, the blog Santas and Samplers is listed there, and when you go to her blog, there's a little tab at the top that said pairs. So they're all in one place. If you follow that link from my last video, I answered her there, but if you were wondering as well, I didn't link the individual chart, I just linked all of the pairs via her website. This one I can't recall the name for. I'll insert it here, but it reminds me a lot of the Stacy Nash piece, and it was just a freebie that someone had put up online. And like I said, it doesn't have any information with it, but I have a lot of plans for October with pumpkins, and this is just a little pin keep. I think it's about 70 by 50, so not big, but this one is super cute. I thought I can see that on some grungy fabric with a little fabric at the bottom. So there's a freebie I'll try to link for you if you're interested. Another one, this one is called Pumpkins and Pins, and it's by, oh, I don't have my glasses on. Make Stuff Be Happy Blogspot. Some of this stuff is floating out on the internet. It's been there like 10 years. And I'm sure a lot of you that have been stitching for a while already know about these things, but newer stitchers like me, you may have never seen them. So I'm trying to highlight some of them and link them so that you can stitch them too, because I think that one is adorable. I love the white pumpkin and I love the little vase that it's in. And it says freebie right there. So I will link that one. Another embroidery piece. This is actually done in black, and I meant to get the pattern in color for you to see, but here it is stitched up. It's embroidery by Kathy Schmitz again. She's the designer that I did my bee skep from, and this is beautiful stitched up, this berry. If you want to try a berry but you're a little intimidated by it, this would be a really nice way to start. It gives you the topper here, and I just cut these pieces out and literally lay them on the fabric after I stitch it and trace around it with a pencil on the back side, and then that'll give you a sewing line. So it's really not hard at all, I promise. This one though is so pretty, and I wanted to do that. It's in red and black. So eventually, that's not really a Halloween plan, but I wanted to try it. Here's the other one that goes with the coffee plan that I shared with my gifted patterns. This is from Paulette Stewart, and it's it didn't blow up very easily on my computer, or it's a weird side. I think it almost cut off the top. But it says, "Here lies my sleeping body, as lifeless as can be. If thou shouldst bring me coffee, I would spring to life with glee." And it's not super huge. It looks really big, but it's probably about a 5x7. And I think it's so pretty on a gray tombstone kind of fabric. Isn't that funny? That's a freebie on her blog. And like I said, I'll try to link all these below. If they're not there immediately, then just hang tight. And another one from Plum Street Samplers, Paulette put an entire series of these 12 days of Christmas, like little pin keeps or ornaments. And my idea was, I've always admired that set by Kathy from Hands On Design in red. She does them on like a scarlet fabric, and I love red. So I thought to myself, I've been watching names when I'm trying to film just escape me. I know her name. I've been watching another Flosstuber insert her name here. Sweet friend, goodness, she's stitching the Hands On Design series in red, and I found this Plum Street freebie and thought that would be so pretty. Carolina Stitcher finished it on Pinterest, in fact, not Pinterest, on Instagram. It came up on Pinterest with the red and the gold tones on the bottom in a fabric. So I don't know if I'll get to it this year, but I wanted to print it off in case I forgot about it or lost it. And it has all 12 ornaments for the 12 Days of Christmas. So just a really pretty chart. Like I said, a lot of y'all have probably already seen this 100 times, but there are a lot of newer stitchers or those that are returning that may have missed it. So I wanted to share that. And that's all I had for haul. Like I said, oh, one other cutie. I have a lot of pumpkin plans coming up. I'll do a special video very soon to explain more. But I found this at Dollar General for $2, $1.99. I thought it was so cute. It'll be perfect in my little, dough bowl situation, or in the, displays we do with pumpkins. And this is actually embroidered letters. So a little pillow for $2. You might check your Dollar General for that. I also got, this is bigger and harder to show, but I also found, for my next pumpkin plan, a giant pumpkin patch box. And usually I only like to spend a couple dollars on these, but this one was $9.99 and I grabbed it because sometimes when they're particularly what you're looking for, see that pumpkin on the front? They don't last. So this one probably wouldn't have been one that I could find. And they're still only $10. They're still only half price of what you would find at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. So even with your coupon, you couldn't get it for that price. So that was the end of my haul. And let me share the giveaway. I'll be right back. Okay, as a thank you to all the subscribers that I've gotten recently, and to all the friends that have joined my channel, I have 3 things that I'd like to give away. As I was making my honeybee, I thought it would be super fun to make another bee berry. I always get that confused when I try to say it, to give away. So this is just something I made up myself. Like I said, I used the same template, but I used all of my own fabrics and hand-dyed wool and silk and just lots of pretty things. They came together so well, I think. So if you would like the bee berry, just mention it in your comment. I'd love the berry, or something about a berry, and make sure you spell it correctly, because I had a lot of people misspell fob in my last one. And if I have as many interested winners in this contest, I am probably going to use the comment generator, not read them one by one. So on this video, and this video only, just mention the word berry if you have any interest in taking that beautiful thing home. And then, since I have stitched the Honeyberry and I am finished with the pattern, I'm also going to pass along the Erica Michaels needle art design pattern for Honeyberry. And it has a nice template inside. It doesn't have a ton of finishing instructions, and it's finished quite a bit differently than the way I did mine. It just kind of has some little pins on top. So if you end up winning this and you have any questions, you can always ask me if you need some advice for finishing or help, or you probably maybe already know how to do it. This one is really fun to stitch, really quick. It's probably the quickest berry I've ever stitched by her, and I think it's my third. I didn't finish the nativity one, but I have 3 of them that I've almost done now. And then, so if you would like to stitch the Honeyberry, just say honey in your keyword. So somewhere within there, I'll use that comment finder. And then the last thing I'd like to pass along, and it's just something small, but it might be difficult for you to get your hands on, or the shipping might be more than you want to do. This is just a big wad of silk. I have some hand dyed that I over dyed a little bit with some antique kind of brown. And then I have an unbleached white. I'll probably put a little more of this, just a big hunk of silk ribbon. So if you would like to have some of this silk for your finishing, I highly suggest it. I'll link the seller. I have 2 now. The Gypsy, Victorian Gypsy, was on a break. So her shop wasn't open, and I really wanted some white silk and went with a different seller. And it was fantastic as well. It has a few more seams in it. That's how they recycle the saris. They end up doing kind of a seam here and there, but it doesn't really interfere with what we would need it for finishing. So if you would like the sari silk, just say silk. So 3 different giveaways. You can say berry, honey, and silk. And if you'd like all 3, then or you'd like a chance for all 3, I'll only have 1 winner for each, then just mention all 3. So thank you again for watching my video. I'll insert or I already inserted a video of my completed bee projects, and I will link my sampler videos from last year. I don't really feel the need to redo those because they haven't really been changing very much as far as my favorite samplers and things that I loved. So I will link that from last year, and I hope to share my pumpkin plans that I have with 2 really sweet Flosstube friends that have quilt in their name. I think you'll know who they are. We're going to be talking soon to plan kind of a pumpkin party that we want you to be a part of. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you have a great stitchy week. As I end my videos, in Psalm chapter 90 verse 17, it says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Take care.